Hey everybody, this is your daily dose of all things royal. Welcome back, my gorgeous good-looking friends. Today's video is going to be a short one. I want to share with you a post that I made 2 days ago on the St. Meghan Markle Reddit community. I was looking through some of the headlines that had been flooding the news feeds around the Meghan Markle and Prince Harry photos that kept popping up without their children. And this one actually struck me. As ridiculous as it sounds, we have to take a moment and think about who they're talking about. This headline reads, "Shame! Meghan Markle and Prince Harry's Soho party while nanny reveals children left in basement." Obviously, take this with a grain of salt. There's no evidence to support that. However, there's no evidence to refute that either. And sometimes when you read some of these headlines of Meghan and Harry, half the time you're not sure what to believe because there have been so many lies told directly by this couple. So when you see crazy headlines like this, at some point, it's going to be hard to tell whether it's actual truth or another lie. And being that this couple have been without their children, I mean, I can't even tell you how many days now, but it's been a lot. You have to wonder, like, who is looking after these children? And for somebody to come up with this headline, I'm wondering how far off from the truth this is. I mean, I guarantee they didn't leave them in the basement, but if they left them somewhere with someone. We have to hope that if these kids actually do exist, that they are in a place where they're safe and that the person or people that are watching them are responsible and not putting them in any kind of danger. Now, I'm sure I'm going to see people write in the comments that, oh, Meghan and Harry have a bunch of staff that are looking after them. It's better that the staff is looking after them than Meghan and Harry because these two are not fit to be parents. Just because Meghan and Harry have money and are in the media on a daily basis doing all sorts of PR stunts doesn't mean that the money and attention is being spent on those kids. There's no evidence that they have given us of spending time with them. And when you look at the amount of days that they have been gone and been away and no kids in sight, it's reasonable for the public to suspect that there is neglect going on here. And I think it's reasonable to inquire for some type of child protective services to do a follow-up and check on them. Just because when you see articles like this or clickbait titles like this, there are people that do believe this stuff. As ridiculous as it sounds, what if one of these articles turns out to be true? This couple has given us no reason to believe that something like this would never happen. Now, if you're a part of the St. Meghan Markle community on Reddit, you may or may not know of a user by the name of Secondhand Coke. Now, this person has been a trusted source within the community for having ears on the street on the West Coast and extremely connected to the entertainment industry. This person accurately communicated what was going on with Spotify before it was announced. They accurately have been communicating about Netflix, and they've also revealed some details about rumors that have been going around about these phantom children. I gotta be honest, I was elated to see Secondhand Coke contributing to the conversation in this post that I made. And although everything said here in this video is just hearsay, gossip, rumors, I do trust this source. So I'd like to share with you to give you some insight on what may be going on with these children. In one of the subthreads of this post, it begins with a user by the name of Jane, 1943, and this person writes, "The recent video of Archie on Twitter at the time of their recent meeting in New York showed he has great difficulty in speaking. Apart from the first few words, he was unintelligible. If this was the real Archie, then he has developmental issues in speech, and I believe there was something on here last year which said his school had to suspend him because of problems such as panic attacks. I immediately remembered when our second son was born, our older son developed a strange way of speaking. Thankfully, it only lasted a couple weeks because we gave him a lot of love and made sure he was involved in tasks such as fetching nappies, etc. Archie is 4.5 now, and when I compare his speech to our sons when they were that age, and also our 3 grandchildren, there's cause for concern, and I'm sure it is related to attachment issues. Being securely attached to parents is crucial in child development and disruption of carers. Multiple nannies, frequent absences of parents, and differing parenting styles between parents. Authoritarian parenting can all cause emotional problems, which can be reflected in speech. I know some of you think there are no children, but there was definitely a video of a version of Archie speaking on Twitter. And if it was a substitute child, they would surely have chosen a child with normal speech for his age. Unfortunately, the video disappeared, and I have searched for it without success. Okay, so I'm going to pause right there. I don't know what video this person is talking about in New York. I don't recall Meghan and Harry bringing Archie to New York in any of the trips that they made over the last couple years. So now Secondhand Coke replies and says, I was the one who posted about Archie's school referring his out for help from an official. I heard this official was doing home visits and that there was definite friction with Meghan and her view of what was appropriate parenting. Archie reportedly suffers from severe anxiety, and Meghan's expectations when she's around, which is rarely, are entirely age inappropriate. She allegedly turning the kid into a nervous wreck, if what I heard is to be believed. So now Jane comes back and says, Thank you. I knew it was discussed on here. I think at the time I said he could be the anxious avoidant attachment type. If I remember correctly, there are 4 types of attachment, and only secure attachment has positive implications for the child's development and adult personality. Some children have a low threshold for stress, and Archie could well be one of those children who is very adversely affected by early experiences. Just think of all the homes he has lived in, and there seems to have been a succession of caregivers. Quite a contrast to the early experiences of children of William and Catherine. So now here's where Secondhand Coke adds some insight. I feel certain, though, of course, I don't know for sure, that he has a severe attachment disorder. If the stories are true and they called in authorities for anxious behavior, that behavior had to have been extreme. The story in The Cut about it taking Harry, Meghan, the reporter, and a nanny jumping around to get Lily to smile when she was brought in suggests that she has attachment issues too. What 1-year-old doesn't grin like a maniac upon seeing a parent? Usually they have big smiles and are reaching for their parent to hold them. That Lily did not do that and had to be prodded into positively interacting with a room full of adults suggests that something is wrong there. I dare say Harry and Meghan are strangers to her and that Meghan is a source of stress for her. Harry seems able to connect with young children based on the walkabouts we've seen him on throughout the years. I've never seen Meghan look comfortable around children and act genuinely interested in them, nor have I ever seen a child have a positive reaction to her. The Hollywood gossip about her is that she is a nasty woman to the point of being crazy and dangerous to other people. She's not above snooping, lying, and blackmailing. I feel genuinely worried for her children. Having a narc mom is a life ruiner. So now another user by the name of C Welcome 3121 chimes in and says, the item in the Cut article, which I remember, was when the author referred to the second child as having unsmiling eyes or something like that. Can't remember the exact quote, but it made my blood run cold. Secondhand Coke then says, that is worrying. Developmentally, a child that age's brain should be thirsty for connection and interaction. A baby that age that doesn't smile, especially when so many are trying to get her to smile, is very worrying. Babies get fussy and tired and aren't always performative, but her lack of connection obviously made an impression on the writer. It must have been notably odd. Now, if we are to believe that this is little Betty, and she belongs to these 2 people, then I have to say, by the way Meghan is so disconnected, this little girl, if she does belong to this couple, is going to grow up with some severe mental health problems. I think what we can hope for, being that these kids are so isolated, if they truly do exist, that they have each other and they find solace in that. But something tells me that these two kids are never together, which makes me even more sad because then you have Archie, who is suffering allegedly from social anxiety. I find it extremely weird that there are no pictures of Archie and little Betty together. We saw them in the Christmas card, but this thing was so photoshopped. How do we even know that these were the actual kids? The thing that I want to see is the two of them together alone. It's really odd that there's no brother and sister photograph of these two. And this adds to the long list of things that make people believe that this is one big con. Look at this photo. Does anybody believe that that little boy sitting face forward is Archie? No, this child is a completely different child to the one that Megan is holding. So who is the real Archie? Personally, I think Megan is constantly hiring these actor kids to play Archie because she's embarrassed of Archie's wonky eye. Notice in the black and white photos that do look like Archie because he resembles Thomas Markle Sr., but Megan doesn't want people to see him face on like the one in the color because she's embarrassed. And I do believe that Megan would be embarrassed of something so superficial because she's petty like that. These kids are not as photogenic and as cute as the Wales' kids. I'm just going to put that out there, and that's my opinion. Perhaps maybe when they grow up and Megan pays for all the plastic surgery, they will turn into swans, which is what Megan did. Now, if it is true that Archie is suffering from social anxiety and is developmentally delayed, then I really do hope that he is getting the care and support that is needed. But something tells me that if Harry couldn't get any resources for his wife when she was about to unalive herself, as well as the bun in her oven, something tells me that they're neglecting this aspect as well. And they couldn't be bothered because they're away all the time. Anyhow, just wanted to share a little bit of this insight. It does make you think on all the weirdness surrounding these two invisible children, which, where there's smoke, there is fire. And I guarantee that the story that we have been told is definitely not the truth. I do think it's important that we continue to keep talking about the strangeness about everything surrounding these two invisible kids. And the only reason why I say so is that these two little beings do not have a voice. And if we don't fight for them, you can bet that nobody else is fighting for them. That's if these two really do exist. Now, my personal belief is that Archie is real. She definitely solidified her anchor into this family with that child. And I do believe that it is her DNA and Harry's DNA. I don't think it came from her body, but the child is genetically hers. Now, little Betty, I believe there's a big scandal brewing. I don't for 1 second believe that that child is genetically Megan's. And that's my personal opinion. But what do you guys think? In fact, I know what you guys think. A lot of you are going to say that these two don't exist. There are many different theories out there, but whose fault is that? That's Meghan and Harry's. They caused that because they have not been transparent and they have not told the truth. And we know that there have been lies along the way concerning the mystery of how these children came to be. But what do you guys think? Do you think this is all by design, created by Meghan in order to keep a mystery and her name being talked about? Do you think the public will ever know the truth? In my personal opinion, I don't think so, because if this is truly a scandal, this would be irreversible damage to the monarchy, and I don't think that they would be able to recover from it. So I think at all costs, they're going to try and keep a lid on this, and perhaps maybe we'll never know. But in the event something is leaked and we do find out that we were not told the truth, what do you think would happen? If any of you are up to it, put in the comment section, best case scenario, worst case scenario, and most likely to happen. And I'll leave it there, and I'm looking forward to seeing what you guys have to say. And on that note, please don't forget to like this video, and I will be back with more content. But until then, please be safe, and I will talk to you later. Bye!
I was such a fraud.